Warmest welcome, everyone, to this debut episode of Relate with Anna Shilina. I'm so excited to share this conversation with two epic humans. I call them a power couple, Chloe and Akil. Chloe, a yoga teacher and entrepreneur who, for over 2 years, has been alongside her partner Akil on this journey. Chloe's mission extends beyond borders as she creates online programs and travels dedicated to empowering women on their path to rediscovering a deeper connection with their bodies. Akil, a travel enthusiast since his early years, always yearning for more time to savor life's moments. His journey led him to embrace AI and entrepreneurship, enabling him to achieve more in less time. Akil has successfully built a thriving community, guiding individuals to develop their businesses through AI, ultimately granting them the freedom to travel and truly live life to the fullest. This episode covers so many topics, from dealing with difficult conversations to how to bridge perspectives. And the last question is my absolute favorite. Before you get started, hit that like and subscribe button. It's going to help me immeasurably. And once you're finished with the podcast, please do leave a comment. I'll be there to respond. Enjoy this episode and stay connected. Very Nikhil, my first question is tell me a little bit about your story and how the two of you met.
I go ahead.
Sure.
I'm really more like storytelling for that. I give the whole Netflix series. Are you ready? Are you sitting and everything? Okay.
Yes, yes, bring it on. Give me the whole Netflix series.
It was exactly the 7th May
Yeah.
2021. I was in Bali. I was single at this moment. One of my best friends she was dating at this moment a guy, and the guy was like running poetry events and some like things, open mic in Ubud. And she say, come with me. I say, I don't know, these kind of things. I don't know if I want to go. I was like, okay, I come with you and everything. So I go with with my friends, Mel, and I knew the boyfriend, her boyfriend, and at this moment, and finally we arrived in the beautiful hotel. It was like crazy view on the jungle, the river on the back, the beautiful long pool, and it's a moment when everybody come the same times and just like people say hi to everybody and everything. And at this moment, I was like, I don't know, my eyes go everywhere in the room, and I just like froze. I literally see your eyes and just like, oh my gosh, who is that? So I say my my friends, who is this guy? And she say, I talk about you about the best friend and everything. And I was like, oh my gosh, he is, I don't know, something was happening the moment I saw him. And I was like, I feel my buzzing in my body. I was like, really. And the same times, after a few minutes, I saw he was with his girlfriend. And I was like, no, it was painful at the moment. But yeah, we have like some sharing talk. I literally didn't understand nothing about what he said because it was really American. I was like, my English was even worse than now. And my friends would translate everything he was saying, and I was like freak out to talk to him because I was so nervous and like, oh my gosh, it was my crush. So I was like so yeah, it
Wow.
was almost 2 years and a half now, and there we go.
Now we're here.
Okay, what was your experience on that fateful 7th of May?
So yeah, it was the same, I would say. Just from my perspective, I saw her and I knew in my mind I needed to break up with the girl I was with. So, because I like
Mhm.
really felt a strong desire to talk to Chloe at that time. And I did approach her and I did try to talk to her. And I even like stepped in because she told us that she told me that she was a yoga instructor. So I was like, hey, can you teach me? And she was like, I only teach in French. So I was like, oh, you know, so that was pretty funny. But yeah, my experience was quite the same. Like I was really taken back, and I knew that that was someone I needed in my life. Like from the first moment I met her, just from the body reaction.
I love meet cute stories. And when did you know? I mean, you had pretty spectacular, meeting where your bodies had these reactions, but was there a time maybe down the line where you really knew deep down that this person or this relationship was special or different compared to the previous ones that you had?
100%. Yeah, I think that it's interesting because even before we were like a couple, and we went to this, it was like a dance club like called Sabaya in Bali. We went to this like club, and I saw her there again, and it wasn't planned. It was just like we just ran into each other. And that day we hung out the entire day and just like danced. And I'm not a big dancer, so but she made me want to dance, and I did not like want to leave that moment. So that's when I knew. I was like, all right, this is something different than usual, because that's very rare for me to feel around anyone where I'm just like, oh, I just want to stay and just dance and be around this person, even though dancing isn't what I usually do, or, the scene isn't what I usually am around. So yeah, I think that that moment was something where I knew I was like, oh, is this something different? Yeah.
Interesting.
What about you?
Okay. Many times, but one come in my mind is we were at this moment in Uluwatu living together with your team and everything. We was almost 11 in the house. It was a big house. We was like all live here, and there are like everyday meetings. And everyday meetings, he was on the edge of the table, almost the boss. And I don't know, it was like every time when he stand up to talk for the team, and he have like so much charisma and the word, I was like, oh my gosh, this man have everything. He have the smartest way to talk to the team. He is really nice with me. He was like really take me as a table, even if I'm not in the team and everything, to just like open. I felt a lot of respect and consideration is an English word.
Yeah, consider. Like, yeah,
Consider,
consider.
yeah,
Yeah.
consider. And finally I saw how the team was respect me, because at the he was include me, so finally everybody follow that. And at this moment I always love have a lot of admiration for the people I'm around, and I was like, gosh, it was a wow again. So I think at this moment I want to stay here at this table and listen to him, and the way he was talk and be the human you was just express. It was just beautiful to see. So yeah.
Yeah, and then the last thing I want to add on to that is how I knew that I'm like, okay, this is my person, and how it's different is because like from the moment that we even went on our first date, I was able to be myself, like 100%, like my complete self. Like it wasn't like I was trying to pretend or trying to impress. It was like I can literally just be myself with this girl and be my goofiness and my kid essence to my masculine role. Like I felt like I was able to express myself fully from the beginning. So that's when I knew. I was like, okay, this is different. Because previously, I never was able to express myself fully, like 100%, without thinking about, oh, I'm doing this because I might hurt her feelings, or oh, I'm doing this because she likes this side of me that is very proper or very non-proper or whatever it was. So I feel like that's when I knew too. It's a little special gift rare.
Wow. And I'm curious, with people talking about like calling in their partner. I'm sure you've heard this in circles, right? Is there anything that you feel that you did on an individual level before meeting each other that helped you be open or prepared to meet someone so special?
Yeah, for me, I always have rough relationship or toxic relationship, how we used to say, because it just like paint the picture of what was looks like my relationship. It was like always conflict, always rough, and I always like go jump to relationship all the time, ending and start again. And it was finally me always looking for the one and looking for beyond relationship and looking for the big love, always looking for something. And I was in Bali. I was like, literally, okay, girl, you can be alone. You can be like, work with you and try to fall in love first with me and have like alone time. I was literally get away Canggu, take a little like wooden house bungalow in Ubud, doing my Vipassana meditation and a lot of things alone, go alone to aesthetic dance, doing a lot of things alone and really try to knowing me more and what I want and what I don't like, what I don't want and what I want. And I write down a letter. I remember a letter about like how going to looks like my next like partner, what I want this relationship looks like. So I wrote that on the big, paper note, and I just like let the life. And Bali is easy. You have a lot of meet people, doing a lot of activities and everything. I think it wasn't a goal. I need to find someone like I just like enjoy my time with myself. So I handed up this poetry event, and there we go.
Wow. Yeah, me, I was like almost the opposite to where, I mean, well, I wasn't the opposite. I was really with myself because I was getting out of a relationship, number one. And then number two, that was the absolute opposite of what I wanted. I just wanted to be alone. I wanted to be free. Let's just put it like that. I wanted to, at this time, just do myself and be in no relationship with anybody and just be like a free bird and have fun. Because we had these, we had a big mansion. It's just guys in the house, just having fun, different, meeting new people on an island. So that's what I was looking for. And in my mind, I was set on that. I was like, this is where I'm going. Not getting in a relationship. Everything in my life is working. I'm even practicing yoga at this point in the time of my life. And I was working out, like money, everything was great. And then this one comes in my life and just pops up. I'm here, So then it was wild because I remember talking to our friend, Saint, the one that she mentioned that we are a mutual friend at the time. And I basically was telling him like, oh, yeah, she's cute, not getting in a relationship, blah, 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 blah. But then we go on our first date and it was literally over from that point. I was like, wow, that's the opposite of what I wanted, but that's just what I needed, I guess. And I guess that's maybe what I was looking for in my other partners. And the thing that was missing in them, she just had the complete package. So for me, it just made sense. It was almost like someone's trying to give you everything you ever wanted, but you're just stubborn at the time. But I was like, I can't pass this up, or I can't, not count my blessings. So yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Both of you are entrepreneurs. You have your own businesses, your own tribes, you're busy. I would love to hear a little bit about each of your individual stories of like what do you think made you into that entrepreneur, and even more specifically into an entrepreneur and a traveler? Because Akil, you come from Michigan, Chloé, you come from France, and you guys have been all over the world, right? It's something that the three of us have in common as well. Like we love to travel, we love business and all these things. What pivotal things do you think happened, maybe even in your childhood, that made you this way?
For me, I think I kind of say it was destiny for me to be out of my country, because I was living in a small village in the south of France with like 1,000 cow and 100 old people.
Literally.
I have this visual of 1,000 cows and 100 old people.
Yes.
Brilliant.
And castle and medieval things, and like everything is old. Like you feel like back in the past when you travel in my city. And I always want to go live close to the ocean, and I always want to get away from everything I'm attached here. And I always have these things, even kids. Like even when I was young, I won't leave. I won't go live somewhere else. So first it was like close to Marseille, another part of France, like more close to the sun and the beach and everything. But finally, I was certificate. I was a nurse at this moment, have like, normal certificates for a normal job. And I jump in the plane and I say bye-bye to France. I was 22 years old and go to New Caledonia. New Caledonia is a French island in the Pacific, close to New Zealand, Fiji, and something over there. Is like
Mhm.
you French area. And at this moment my life start to really appreciate traveling, because I was nurse, I was like insurance nurse, so take some flight jet, go around, pick up some patient, like, and at this moment I think I just start my passion to be free, even if I was nurse, and to travel and to experience new things every time. My schedule was every time new and changed. So yeah, I think that was just the beginning of touching the freedom of travel and change the basic job.
Mhm. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
rewiring, right? Like going from the old, what your old normal to a brand new reality. Wow. Yeah.
Mm.
Hmm. Yeah. For me, I mean, it was my parents 100%. My dad and my mom. My mom was always a traveler. She loved planes and things like that, And my dad, he loved to travel within America. Like it wasn't like he was going out of the country. Both of my parents weren't literally leaving out of the country, but still, I think that by them putting me on a plane young, that's where I got my, curiosity, or I wanted to go places. And also my dad, he's a big entrepreneur. Even my mom, they're always been entrepreneurs. They've been starting companies. My mom had a school bus company to take underprivileged kids to school, because where I actually grew up, they shut down all the schools in my city where I grew up, and kids couldn't get to the other districts to go to school. So they had to walk. So my mom was like, let's start this company up, and got the school buses, started to hire people, really didn't know what she was doing to take these kids to school. So she was always like that. And my dad was the same way. And my dad never pushed school on me. He just always taught
Mm.
me how to be an entrepreneur early. So I think that's where my entrepreneurial career started. And from there, I experimented with different companies. Even when I was 14 years old, I got into my first network marketing company, which encouraged me to travel. And even if I can go further, like behind that, when I was a kid, second grade, so I was, I don't know, 7 years old, 8 years old, I had a teacher named Miss Mueller. And she was a German teacher, and she actually taught me German when I was a kid. And because I was very curious, so she wanted to teach me. And my parents let me stay after school with Miss Mueller a lot. And she was showing me maps of Europe, maps of the world, and she had me study every single country in the world and all the capitals of every country. And I was super fascinated on it. And my parents thought it was so funny and weird because I didn't have to do that. So I think that really sparked the inspiration in me to want to travel to every country in the world. And from a young age, I've always been traveling. I went to Amsterdam when I was in high school without telling my parents, and just started to travel that way. So I think that that's, yeah, really where it stemmed from.
I was listening to a podcast the other day that was talking about the host of the podcast was asking the question. She wasn't sure if it was possible for two entrepreneurs to have a successful relationship because you're so purpose driven, you have so much going on. A lot of relationships, you'll have like a primary purpose driven person, and the second person is more of a support role. But you guys have this unique story where your two entrepreneurial journeys collide. What do you think is the secret to successfully colliding entrepreneurial journeys in a relationship?
Wow, it's a great question.
For me, I always like grateful to have my partner entrepreneur, because finally, like me, loving travel, loving be free, working behind my laptop, even with my yoga mat and my laptop. If I was with something or dating something with a normal job, I will be. It was not possible. So I'm always happy finally for the good match. He always record and I always need content. And finally for me, almost my success today, or my, blow up on the social media or even my business is because he came in my life, and I will say I disagree with the things where two entrepreneurs cannot succeed. No, I feel like two entrepreneurs together can really succeed, because like he bring me light where I don't see it. He like show me even like French mindset in the business is literally different than American mindset. They see big, have a bigger vision, bigger picture. And like me, is really like drive me to enjoy what I do, but see bigger. So I won't say it's amazing to have a partner entrepreneur, because we can both travel when we want, where we want, like the time we want. Like every summer we go out for 4 months, and it's okay for both. So I feel like it's pretty comfortable.
Yeah, I would say so too. Yeah, I think we're really similar too. That has a lot to do with it. That the way of I understand what she's going through, and I understand where she's trying to go. So for example, like if she needs to be on calls all day, I understand, because I have to do the same thing. And opposed to like say my partner's doing something completely different that I don't understand, and now I'm like taken back if she has to fly over to France to do something with the girls or whatever. It's like I totally get it. So I think that that's a real big part of it too, being able to understand your partner. And we also love our space, like our alone time, but love to be together at the same time too. So it's like, I know some people one person may be super, what is it called? Like affectionate, and the other person may be like away, or they may be wanting a lot of alone time. But for us, we do a really good job of, she works over here, I work over there. Sometimes we work together sometimes, but we understand how each other works. So I understand when she needs her space, or I understand when she is in a zone of working, because I get it, because I'm the same exact way. So I think it really helps us being similar too. It may help, but I know that maybe another couple may struggle because they may be like completely different on that spectrum.
Yeah, and there are people like, when sometimes I don't know who say that, like I don't know how you are all the time together, stay all the time together. I will kill my husband or my wife if I was like 7 to 7 with her. I better say like, no, we are pretty chill. I feel like is why also it's possible for us to stay in the house all the time, every day together, because finally it's working pretty well for us. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm sure there are some, but what kind of challenges come up with this type of lifestyle?
With a lifestyle of both being entrepreneurs?
Yeah, both entrepreneurs, the traveling, like what comes up sometimes that you have to navigate?
I think, let's just say, if in our life things have happened, like there's been times where, as in my entrepreneurial journey, I've made bad business mistakes with my business partners, and maybe I'm not making any income, or maybe she's not making any income. I feel like that can be, I wouldn't say it can be a challenge, but then again, I don't really look at it as a challenge, because she is there and I'm always there. So it's almost like we have two support systems in the house, instead of, I guess, looking at it like a challenge. But that's the only thing I can think of that can be.
Me, I will see, like, because finally that I don't like too much when he is too long away. And I know if tomorrow our business become bigger, and if probably going to that, like me, probably I'm going to organize retreats by myself in France, and he is at the same time going speak on stage somewhere in America. So maybe finally our bigger challenge for the future is gonna have like more time without each other, because we going to get busy more and more. So I think for me is going to be that my challenge, to don't have you with me all the time. And I get it, because be with me with my yoga retreat girl is not maybe a goal for you. And yeah, I think
Hey, which man's dream is it not to be surrounded by 20 women doing yoga?
Oh my gosh.
French.
20 French women doing yoga. Yep.
So that is going to be my challenge. But for the moment, yeah, I feel like we have a pretty okay relationship for the money. So even like had he say when sometimes for months he was struggling, it's okay because I'm here. And when sometimes my month is pretty empty, I know he can pay the rent. And I feel like we always have like this beautiful flow every time. To have like this balance. So I think that sometimes can be a challenge with a relationship couple entrepreneur when the
Mm-hmm.
business go up and down to don't have money trouble. That maybe can be complicated for, yeah.
Yeah. And I think that we've always like trusted each other. And I think that's why we were able to find a lot of business success too within our relationship. Because I know previously, and I've been in relationships where it was like I would be making the money and then I would feel a certain way internally, knowing that my partner just relied on me and felt like it was my duty or my responsibility, which I understand how they had a mentality or that can be something they were taught. But for Chloé, it was almost like, I've got your back, no matter what. Like, I know you may want to pay for everything or you may have a desire to do a certain thing, but I'm here. So that was always very comforting and amazing to know too.
On the topic of challenges, I find that, any successful relationship is going to have some difficult conversations. And actually, it's almost, if you avoid difficult conversations, you're not going to have successful relationships. Do you guys have any tips or things that you have been able to rely on or tools that have helped you navigate difficult conversations from time to time?
I think from my perspective, it was me being okay with saying how I feel more, just being comfortable with expressing myself. Meaning, let's just say, and that takes time too, because like when you first get into a relationship, you really don't know that person so much. So over time, you do develop an understanding of who that person is. And I feel like over time, Chloé and I were able to get a deeper understanding of who each other were. And initially, when we first started dating, it wasn't so clear. So I feel like we went through challenges and times to figure that out also. And I also feel like really understanding or giving the space to understand the other person. Because we come from different backgrounds, we come from different relationship structures, we come from different regions in the world, even different languages. So I think that for me to understanding her thought process and giving the patience to understand that, oh, she's thinking this way, and that's okay that's because she just does everything out of love towards me. So I feel like from that we had trial and error of course at first, like any relationship, but holding the space and not getting angry when you don't understand the other person.
Yeah, for me, especially at the beginning, or maybe sometimes, like being not a fully English speaker, and even sometimes I wish sometimes he understands French to really say the word how I really want to say it, because sometimes like when you speak another language, it's not the word really like I'm gonna put this word because it looks like, but it's not really like this. I won't say it. So the real tool or tips I won't say for every time when we was avoid, I will talk for the men especially. I really appreciate because every time, and he's aware when something going wrong with me, he every time saw it. So I feel like sometimes for a lot of couple, the girl go through things and she don't say and she take on her,
Mm-hmm.
take, and finally a lot of
Yeah.
men don't see that coming, and after his explosion, that every time few hours he can saw something is different in me, something changed, and I have to say things. And even like he pushed me to sit, he creates the space, make me sit and say, okay, let's talk. And even like, no, like I don't want, I feel like I want to escape. He always pushed me to go to the communication and the conversation. And I think like me feel, okay, he going to listen. And also he always tell me, don't take personally. I'm gonna say something, please don't take personally, because I just say things like, how is going to come. You have like these two tips to talk the closer of the problem is.
Yeah.
If I that the things
As soon as
to
possible. Yeah.
yeah, as soon as possible, and create the space to sit, to really like try to make, because it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to play with your emotions. So, okay, let's create a comfortable area where we feel safe to talk, when we feel listen, even if the word not gonna be correct or right. I always try, okay, sorry if my word not gonna be right or correct. I just express how the word gonna come. So yeah,
Mm.
definitely the tool is to really see, because I feel like men, they are different. If something go wrong, maybe they're gonna say first, or they're gonna be, I don't know, it's different. I feel like when
Like we're different
Mm.
the way we think. Yeah,
yeah, I feel like I can keep things inside and and poison my own thought process for a long time before say something.
yeah. And then the last thing I want to say
Yeah.
about that is I feel like trust is big in a relationship, and it takes time. Maybe it's broken at some points, but it just takes time on both sides. For example, if Chloe leaves the house or I leave the house, knowing that Chloe trusts me and knowing that I trust her gives me a different outlook on everything, even when I talk to people. For example, previously when we first started dating, we had rough edges of our relationships to where I knew Chloe didn't trust me fully. So me knowing that made me act differently because I felt like I wasn't, I don't know, on one accord with her, if that makes sense. So I feel like over time, we were able to develop trust, figure each other out, know who we are, know our dislikes, know our bad habits, know our good habits, to where it's like, okay, now I fully trust her. Okay, now she trusts me. So now, in my mind, those thoughts really don't enter my mind of feeling like I'm with someone I don't fully understand.
Very curious because Chloe said a lot of men won't sit their person down and go like, what's going on? And I don't want to put it into like men and women, but there are a lot of people in general who don't pick up on subtleties, who are so swept up in their own worlds. And Akil, where did you learn these skills to pick up on the subtleties and to call things out early and often and to invite honest and authentic conversation and relating? Where do you think that comes from?
I think I genuinely love Chloe, and also I feel like I genuinely want to continuously make a better relationship with her. So, for example, when I was in previous relationships, I didn't feel that way. So I wouldn't see everything, if that makes sense, or I wouldn't maybe be aware of her moods to this level or this degree. So I think by me really having the desire to know her on a deeper level and even think past just me, but think about our kids or think about our grandkids, I don't know, our legacy or past that. It's like I really want to understand the person I'm with, and also I genuinely want to get closer to her and see how close we can even get, because as our relationship has gone on, we continuously learn new parts of each other and see each other grow at the same time. So it's really cool and beautiful, and just by me being closer and closer to her allows my life to be better. So you can say even from a selfish aspect, by me really listening to her emotions or understanding her emotions makes it easier for me to grow closer to her, which makes my life better.
I absolutely adore what you just said, because when I work with clients, sometimes the biggest threshold I have to get them to do, say I work with men entrepreneurs and they don't pick up on their wives' subtleties and moods and things like that, I have to get them to care. And that is the hardest part. But they're like, oh, give me the tools, give me the strategies. And I'm like, well, they're not going to work if you don't care. So really unlocking their hearts again, because after years and years of relating in relationships, sometimes like people's hearts close. They make a lot of assumptions about their partner. The partner is always like this and never like this and all these things. So and like helping people like open up their hearts, their eyes, their minds to this person in front of them and almost have a beginner's mind about this person is so transformational. So I really adore how you really drove that point home about like you have to love this person and really genuinely care about them and have that curiosity. That's amazing. Just to rewind a little bit, because we talked about how you guys met, but when you guys met, what were some non-negotiables that you were looking for in the partner even before you guys came into each other's lives? And then following on, have those non-negotiables or rules in a sense changed at all over the years?
I mean, like my first non-negotiable is like I'm not open relationship or I'm pretty exclusive, and that is like, okay, you need to know that I don't share, I don't, and that never changed.
Okay.
So
Brilliant.
that is my first non-negotiable. Yeah, it's kind of like how we say we have a different tradition or culture or the way we live, and like my French traditional belief is strong, and I feel we didn't grow up with the same belief about that part, and for me it's rough. For him it's literally different. For that it was something, no problem to be open relationship. For me it's like no way. And another non-negotiable change, do you think about something? I don't remember.
Not really. I think that kind of stuck with it. I mean, in my mind, I never had any non-negotiables, really. I didn't even think about being in a relationship. Like, that wasn't even in my mind at the time when we started the date. But when we started to see each other, yeah, there wasn't really any non-negotiables. Almost just respect, I guess, to a certain degree. I'm not the type of person that argues much, so if someone's like argumentative, like that type of person or archetype, that doesn't fit with me.
Yeah, and I feel like what changed, and sometimes when I can see with my past relationship, sometimes my past relationship, I have to have this kind of conversation. Oh, I need more attention, or I need to, the needs. Oh, I need, because the other wasn't doing the job I wanted almost, in the couple relationship. But I feel like I always felt, oh, I'm the mom, or I'm the things keep the relationship right and everything. And I literally, we never really need to have this, oh, you should to be more, thoughtful for me, or you should like, because I need that. He really literally do everything I need, or the way I need to be loved. We all have different way to be loved. It's sometimes the word, sometimes it's like touching, sometimes attention. And I feel like he was give me the thing I love to receive without me asking for that. Sometimes like when you are in the toxic relationship or things like, oh, I want to be listened, I want to be respect, I want to be, a little bit more that, or I want that. And sometimes is a non-negotiable, I won't say, but I didn't need to do that. Yeah, I want to be respect how as a woman, so please don't see other women or do it and it's over. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. The one thing that comes up for me, and I don't know, it just like flew into my mind, non-negotiable would be for a partner of mine is to value health a lot. It would be important to have someone like on the same wavelength of like living a healthy lifestyle. I'm curious with the traveling, the business, the relationship, all these things that you have to prioritize. You have launches, and then you have to maintain the business, and you have this, and then you're in the new country, and then there's new things to see, and it's exciting, and all these things. How do you prioritize? Because I know a lot of digital entrepreneurs who get lost in the travel or get too lost in the business. And what I have noticed from you guys is that you have a pretty good balance. And obviously I'm not on the inside, so I don't know, like sometimes obviously you could feel out of balance, but what helps you prioritize in terms of, do I focus on business? Do I focus on being a tourist here? Do I focus on relationship? Like, how do you prioritize all of these moving parts that you have going on?
For me, I would just say I always go with my internal feelings. For example, I can get really busy. Like right now, I am extremely busy with my business. But if I always try to remember my why and like why I'm doing it. Like, why do I want more money? Why do I want a bigger business? Why do I want to go outside right now? So I think that ultimately, in my mind, I just want to feel good now. So if something's making me not feel good in the moment, even the thought of pursuing what I want, if that's making me not feel good, then I'm not going to do it. So I think that's really where I find my balance, on just focusing on feeling good now, not really focusing on, oh, is Chloe feeling good, but like for myself, am I feeling good? And then once I know that if I'm feeling good, then I can help Chloe feel good, or I can help other people feel good. You know, I can pour my cup into new businesses, because if I don't feel good, then I'm going to make whatever I'm doing terrible. So I think that that's what I prioritize, and that's how I know where to split my attention, on just focusing on feeling as good as possible in the moment.
For me, I know I try to sometimes remind us to have time together out of the house and working, because we are pretty busy all the time, hard worker, both generator, hard worker. And sometimes I feel, even if at the house we always have this moment, we go on the couch, we have conversation about the business and everything, but I feel like sometimes we literally forget to, oh, let's get out and stop thinking about working or what's going to be next. And even sometimes the traveling is about working. We don't just travel for travel. No, they have work to do behind. Sometimes for my retreat, or sometimes for his other company. And finally, even in our travel, we're working, we're still working, we're still behind the phone, we still post content, we're still thinking about the new video and everything. So finally, for me, where I really try to force us to be aware, to be careful, to have our time and enjoy also, to only don't get stuck in the working mode. For the moment, our relationship is pretty strong and everything, but I can see in some couple where they, start to have their own way, because, oh, I'm busy in my way, and the train go fast, and finally a little bit like location conversation, but not really strong moment. So I think that sometimes the entrepreneur things is kind of difficult, because is never stop. The way you wake up, the way you go to bed every day, you entrepreneur. Like, I feel when I was in my normal job at 5 p.m. it's over, it's my life. Like almost like I don't have to thinking about, like, it was like, okay, it's my weekend. The weekend is a weekend. I think about my friends. And when you're entrepreneur, I feel like for me, my harder part is just like stop thinking about my work, because I'm passionate, because I want to be successful. And I feel like, my age or things is a time, girls. Like, so go ahead. And I don't want that my ambition or my desire to success push me away of the strong and beautiful relationship we have. So I think it's really like this all-time reminder to, hey, let's go watch the sunset, and don't take the phone, and just watch the sunset.
Yeah. On
Being
that
aware.
note, actually, what was that, Akil?
Oh, I was just saying, yeah, just being aware. Just being
Being
aware of what's
aware.
going on. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Checking the temperature from time
Yeah,
to time.
exactly.
And but on that note of reminding each other to do cool things, what are some of your favorite adventures that you guys have been on together in the last 2.5 years?
Wow, so many. Literally just like so many. First time when we went
Give
to
me
the
the
country of
Netflix
Andorra,
series.
that
Say that
was
again.
crazy. We went to Andorra, the country. It's like one of the smallest countries in the world. And that was a real adventure for me because I love going to new places and discovering new sites. So the first time we really experienced that together and found things there was very exciting for me. When we went to India and experienced chaos together and like sleeping in, you know, smelly places or whatever, hiking volcanoes, being inside volcanoes together. Literally, when I first took her to Michigan and she came to see my hometown and it was just blizzard snow everywhere and it's freezing, you know, and seeing her like bundled up in like the jacket and stuff, it's just like so many moments like that. Guatemala, just being there on what was that? The October Halloween. There's just so many moments we had together. Yeah,
Yeah, we travel. Yeah, so
yeah,
many. And
so many
usually
moments.
that is cool because we are again pretty the same. So finally, what he going to like, I'm going to like too. And I know India was rough for us, for both of us. And like, so really experience that, like complaining, oh my God, a connection,
Connection. Yeah,
connection
Mm-hmm.
to have the same, what I'm going to like, he going to like, so we can share this moment. If even if he's explain how we like with his eyes and my eyes or my perspective, I like. I know we're gonna enjoy because we are pretty similar about the things we like, and I feel like make that really nice because finally, if you really enjoy India and me not, it's going to, yeah, it's different. But it was really funny together to hate some place, so it make us talk about that together. Everybody was like, no, oh my gosh, it's terrible, we need to leave, and it's funny.
I love that. You've mentioned a couple times now that you guys are so similar. In what ways are you also different?
Oh, he love be with people.
Uh-huh.
He's really social, extrovert. If you can have like people in the house all the time.
yeah,
And me, you know me, I'm not.
Mm,
I'm the opposite. So I feel like that I try to make more effort to, voila, to see more, yeah, people,
mhm.
yeah,
for him to don't feel like, stuck with me in the house. So I think that I'm working on myself to be more open,
yeah.
so that make us really different. He
That makes a
love be
difference.
with people and everything and all the time. Yeah, me not.
Yeah, I would probably say that's the biggest difference. But it also like balances me out a lot because you know I can get easily distracted by just hanging out with people and almost
Mm,
procrastinate on things I need to get done or just miss opportunities because I'm with people. So I think that that aspect of her really helps me stay focused to in a degree that I may have need help with too. And maybe I help her with just being outside and, you know, meeting new people. So yeah, definitely.
nice, nice. So I have just two final questions. The first question is,
Yeah.
how do you think people can invite, and this is quite a general question, how do you think in general people can invite more love into their lives and into their hearts? Is there anything that people can practically do to
Hmm.
experience and invite more love into their lives?
I would say just to feel good now. Work on feeling as good as possible in the moment and work on yourself. Like keep challenging yourself, do difficult things. Because I feel like when you live a life of making excuses, or you live a life of not challenging yourself, or you live a life of blaming your partner or others as a victim, like you play this like victim mentality, it's always you're always going to have a difficult time. But if you constantly try and improve yourself and you start falling in love with yourself in a deeper level, then you love everyone else around you. You see the signs, you learn deeper levels of connecting with other people and seeing more love in your life. So I think that's what I would say is just to work on feeling as good as possible within yourself every single day and making your dream life come true by focusing on what you want and feeling good now.
If I could just say something there, because you did touch on doing difficult things, because someone might ask, well, how do I feel good now? Right? Like I would have that question. And one of the things that I've noticed, that the more difficult things that I do, the better I feel good now. So I'm currently working with a coach who's making me do a cold shower every single morning. Do I want to do this cold shower? No. But I have this mantra first thing in the morning. Put on the cold shower, and the mantra that I say to myself is literally, I can do hard things, I could do hard things, I could do hard things. Do my cold shower, get out of it, and I immediately feel good, right? Or like do a really difficult yoga class, or challenge myself in business somehow, or learn a new skill. I'm like learning all things, mics and cameras, all sorts of things, and those are the types of things that make me feel good. And I just wanted to add that distinction, because when someone thinks or hears feel good now, we have this dopamine nation, immediate gratification, drugged up society. I feel it's important to separate what it actually means to feel good, because that is an illusion, right? Where you're either scrolling or you're just lost in this dopamine nation, versus actually doing hard things that are going to make you feel good now, and your future self is going to thank you for it.
100%. Yeah. And I think when you do hard things, the last thing I'm going to add on this, but when you do hard things and you accomplish it, or you almost get this sense of trusting yourself and feeling like you're holding yourself accountable, you get closer to yourself. I feel like, wow, I did that. And then you love yourself deeper, because you push yourself harder, and you feel like you unlock new levels, and that ultimately makes you feel way better than just doing something that may be a bad habit that feels good in what you think feels good in the moment, but it really doesn't, because as soon as you do it, you're like, wow, I should have done that.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Chloé, do you have any ideas of how people can invite more love into their lives?
I wouldn't say life, relationship, and everything is a healing process. And for me, or in my belief, we came on earth for heal something. And I feel like relationships, especially because I feel like sometimes people get lost about like, oh, I'm going to love you and give all my love, and maybe that gonna help me to heal or to receive. And I feel like we have like kind of misunderstanding about what is really love, and we have a lot of expectation and everything. And what I understand on my journey when I was single, instead of catch relationship toxic and give a lot of love just like to receive something because I deserve, look at how I love you, like you can give me something, to for me how more love is just like about what you finally say, learning you enough to love you, to really love you. And I feel like if you love you enough, if you trust you enough, if you feel like even more confident and you feel more aligned, just the other, just see that, gonna love you so much more, because you feel like yourself, you feel like loving, like, you know, the yeah.
Wow.
You feel secure and you feel like that. So the tips, I won't say, just working and healing any path you have to go to working on knowing you more and loving you more. And the couple gonna follow. The couple gonna.
Yeah. 100%.
Wow.
Confidence is the word.
Yeah, and on the broader topic of relating, we live in this huge world with so many opinions and perspectives, and just even like outside, not even relating with each other, but relating with the world at large and other people. What do you think is the key to relating with an opposite or a different perspective to your own? Say someone has a completely different viewpoint to you. What is the way to go about relating with that?
Wow. I would say take mushrooms. When you learn, You learn how to understand other people. And yeah, I would say don't take
Love it.
anything personal would be my biggest advice. Don't take anything personal and listen. We've got two ears and one mouth. We need to use them proportionally. So we need to listen more than we speak. So then once you actually understand someone, you can see maybe where they look at life different than you.
For me, I think we all come from, I see ourselves like a data. All your experience is just data. You code new data because it's your own eyes, on your belief, on your experience. And I feel like to accept, you just create your own data and everybody do the same thing. Everybody doing the same data for the world, for, I don't know, to have so much experience save. And I feel like me, when I have someone disagree with me or don't have the same vision of me, or I try to always think he just have his own data and create his own saving machine. So I feel like me, the compassion was the other experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. Akil, just to follow up, because I can't leave this hanging. What did you, I mean, I know what you meant when you said take mushrooms, but what has mushrooms or your experience with mushrooms given you in this regard? Why did that even come up as something?
Wow, because I feel like mushrooms did for me is it took away my judgment. So before I've taken mushrooms and I used to maybe view the world in a different light. And when I took mushrooms, my judgment cap in my mind just flew out of the window to where it was like, wow, I think of things from maybe that person's perspective instead of looking at things from my perspective. And one thing that I really learned from mushrooms, and this is almost my form of religion, if it's anything similar to religion, is what you believe is what you make true. And I truly believe that with the bottom of my heart. I believe whatever someone believes is what they make truth in this world. And I think that by, let's just say, Anna believing something, there's no way I can tell Anna she's wrong because that's what she believes. So for me, I think that mushrooms really help me see things from other people's perspectives in that way of just knowing that everybody has their own sense of belief and whatever they believe, they're true. I can't tell them they're wrong if they truly believe that. So I think that, yeah, that was my mushroom journey.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. And the final question, this is just a fun one for shits and giggles. If you were an ice cream flavor, what ice cream flavor would you be and why? I'll start. I'd be pistachio.
You be a pistachio.
I'd be
Pistachio ice cream flavor.
pistachio ice cream. Yeah. Because it's quite a particular taste. It's not going to be for everybody for sure. It's a little bit crunchy, not too sweet, but kind of hits the spot for the right people. So that would be my answer. And I just made that up.
Me, I'm a stracciatella. Because
Why?
stracciatella, you have the sweetness, the softness of the vanilla. I'm pretty soft and everything, but behind you always have something crunch and something a little bit dark inside. A
Love
real
it.
dark
Yes.
crunchy I can be sometimes, but the combination of a lot of softness and the dark, rough, crunchy, stubborn can be really filled.
Interesting. Wow. That's cute.
Wow.
I would I would have to say cookies and cream because I feel like if you don't like cookies and cream, you're just weird. So that's the logic behind mine. If you don't like cookies and cream, you don't like my vibe, that's just a you problem at the end of the day because everybody should love cookies and cream. It's so good. You got the chocolate or that feel, that vibe, then you got the vanilla, whatever. If you don't like that, it's on you. So
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy I asked that question. I almost nearly didn't. I was like, should I ask this question? So that's so brilliant.
That's funny.
Akil, Chloé, thank you so much. You guys are amazing. I love you guys to bits. I love surrounding myself with inspiring couples and people in general, but especially couples because, it's one thing to master your own world and it's another thing to co-master worlds. And it's something that what
yes.
I've observed from our friendship over the last year or so is really inspiring. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for being here, having fun. See you guys soon. Bye for now.
You too. Bye.